whenever you open the Constitution for changes or amendments, you cannot place restrictions or conditionalities na hanggang dito ka lang. When you open a charter change, it's plenary. Hindi mo we call for a constitutional convention or we call for a constitutional constituent rather becomes a congruent constituent body by Congress, a people's initiative. Whatever it is, hindi mo managyan ng restriction because when you open it up, it's all for the taking. Dito, sabihin lang na kayong mga congressman o senador, huwag ninyong pahabain o paiksiin yung termino ninyo. Let it be where it is. Kung magsabi 6 years ngayon o ganon, hanggang dyan lang. Now, any changes that you may want to put forward for posterity, you may do so. Right now, you can begin by the legislation, then could lead up to the opening of the charter for changes and amendments, but it should be progressive. Ibig kong sabihin, tayo ngayon, kami, wala na pala akong sa picture eh. It's presumptuous, but you tend to forget. Fair is fair. Wala naman tayong dyan, but this is the democracy. Rotation dapat. Now is the time for Bicolano to be president. Maybe tomorrow from the southwestern part of Mindanao, which would be Zamboanga towards Pulo. I would even relish an Ifugao president. Turno-turno tayo, huwag natin suluhin. Hindi maganda eh. Magsabi, one term, only, period. 2 terms, tapos barred forever, pero sundin natin. You can do it na i-amend mo, but the problem is, if you amend the Constitution and you are the incumbent president, you have all the resources to get what you want.
Galit na.
Kaya mong bilihin pati yung barangay captain, so what result would you want? Huwag na tayo magbulahan dito sa Pilipinas. Sabihin mo, ipadaan natin ng referendum, plebisito. Bilat. Kung gusto ng presidente, the resources are there for him to utilize. Kakabubog naman niya pag hindi mo matalo basta. Whatever it is, a referendum or a plebiscite or a result of a votation or whatever. Wala. Ganito na lang. Gusto mong baguhin from ngayon 6 years, you make it 10 years for 1 term. Maganda. Pero baka sa panglatlong dekada na yan, huwag ngayon. Kung meron man tayong gawin, hindi para sa atin, para na sa mga ating anak. Huwag para sa atin, kasi yan, that would trigger a lot of friction in society. Magkakaroon ng inita na eh. And hindi lang man tayo, buti sana kung kami lang mga politiko. We have to deal with the population, we have to deal with religion, kasi ang religion naman, we have to deal with the military, we have to deal with the police, we have to deal with the security guards, we have to deal with the CAFGO.
Hi guys, magandang araw po sa inyo. Ito naman pong muli ang iyong lingkod, si DIY KKB Informative. At ang matutunghayan po natin ay ang ating butihing kagalang-galang dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. At dito malilinawan natin kung ano talaga yung lambot na sinasabi natin ng ibang mga vloggers at sa mga news na mukhang lumambot na ang ating dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, si Tatay Digong. Doon sa kanyang speech dito sa Cebu, ibang-iba siya nung nasa Davao City, talagang matigas na matigas. At pagdating dito sa Cebu, ay biglang lumambot. Pero, ito po ang kanyang mga paliwanag dito. Matutunghayan nyo ngayon at malilinawan natin kung siya ba ay nagbago na ng kanyang paninindigan nang nasa Davao siya, tapos lumipat siya ng Cebu at lumambot dito sa Cebu. Siya ba ay nag-iba na ng panindigan? Dito natin malalaman, guys. So, patuloy nyo panoorin, guys. Medyo putol-putol dahil nga pangit ang ating signal. So, ito po, guys. At bago po tayo magsapol ay gusto ko muna pong pasalamatan ng ating mga viewers at lalong-lalo na ang ating mga subscriber na patuloy na sumusuporta sa ating YouTube channel, DIY KKB Informative. So, simulan na po natin ang ating kagalang-galang butihing dating Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Ito na po.
They would come up still, which has always been the excuse to open the charter. I do not want to put forward anything that might, ayaw ko na lang mag-speculate. But if there is any change coming up, well and good, we should welcome it. But doon lang, I hope it would not rumble on to some other matters aside from the economic provisions that they would want to amend, change, correct, rectify. Pero ako talaga up to now, I am still in wonderment kung ano yung why in heaven's name but there's always that economic provisions na hindi makorek-korek noon pa. But that is the usual convenient way of saying things, but leave it that way. I'll go along with it. As long as we stick to the economic provisions, whatever they want to change there, somewhere, somehow. Yun lang ang akin. That's the long and short of this press con. Wala naman akong ibig sabihin. Maybe that I just wanted a big crowd. I've been out in circulation, very far from the madding crowd, So, from time to time, gusto ko kayong makita the dialect. It would be something like gimingaw ko ninyo. Huwag mo humingaw sa ako. Mula may na maklaro ta ba kay so yun lang.
Tapos na?
Hanggang doon lang ako for the nonce. So kasi dyan naman rin ang the progression of things. So I would not want to go ahead forward and overtake ka sa which may or may not come. Parang ganon lang.
It seems like we're not really 100% sure kung if we can trust these people na mag-handle. What if sa gitna ng sinasabi nilang economic lang ang tutulungan, biglang na-open yung charge at yung constitutional change natin at biglang pinasok yung terms nila at yung personal interest nila.
Yun nga.
And what will you do?
Well, ganito yan. Whenever you open the Constitution for changes or amendments, you cannot place restrictions or conditionalities na hanggang dito ka lang. When you open a charter change, it's plenary. Hindi mo sabihin mo, we call for a constitutional convention or we call for a constitutional constituent rather, becomes a congruent constituent body by Congress or People's Initiative. Whatever it is, hindi mo managyan ng restriction because when you open it up, it's all for the taking. Plenary talaga yan. So, you cannot place restrictions there.
So it's possible na biglang may isang congressman na tayo and I sasabihin niya, I move to for this
to extend our terms like that.
ay biglang gumana.
Kaya ako nandito Kaya nag-uusap dito. Not only for any particular office in the Constitution. Ito namang local offices, local government offices are not mentioned in the Constitution. They are defined by one single phrase there about local governments, which will be organized in accordance with law. Ang nasa dyan lang sa Constitution is the President, the Vice President, the Senators, and Congressmen. The rest ng mga barangay captain wala na hanggang mayors and governor. We are all, we are public officials, but we are ruled by the local government code. It's not a constitutional office. Yung constitutional offices are those mentioned in the Constitution. So, yun ang, well, that's why ako nandito. Sabihin lang na kayong mga congressman o senador, huwag ninyong pahabain o paiksiin yung termino ninyo. Let it be where it is. Kung magsabi 6 years ngayon o ganon, hanggang dyan lang. Now, any changes that you may want to put forward for posterity, you may do so right now. You can begin by the legislation, then could lead up to the opening of the charter for changes and amendments, but it should be progressive. Ibig kong sabihin, tayo ngayon kami, wala na pala akong sa picture eh. It's presumptuous, but you know, you tend to forget. Hindi dapat kami, we should not benefit from it. Any changes, making it longer, shorter, okay lang siguro. Pero longer by, mahirap yan.
Mahirap talaga.
Congressman, senators, and all.
Yung sinasabi ni Pangulong Duterte, pagka kayo'y na-open na yung charter change na yan, hindi lang yun ang po pwede nilang baguhin yung economic provision na sinasabi. Hindi. Kundi lahat na yan, sinasabi nga ni Pangulong Duterte na lahat na yan, mabubuksan na yan.
It must be purely motivated to improve the interest of government and country. It will never be used.
Intindihan nyo? Talagang, lalo na yung prosperity ng termino, pahabain mo. Yun ang ayaw ni Pangulong Duterte. Malumanay siya magsalita, pero matigas yung nilalaman ng kanya sinasabi. Kaya dito natin maiintindihan na hindi siya lumambot. Matigas pa rin siya. Yung, kaya nga narin siya, sabi nga niya, kaya nga ako narito eh. Kasi binabantayan ko yung mga pag-extend ng inyong panunungkulan. Term extension, kumbaga, yun yung sinasabi niya rito. Kaya ako narito dahil binabantayan ko yung term extension na yan dyan sa gagawin yung constitutional change. Hindi pwede yan. Hindi pwede yan. Kung gusto nyo gawin yan, kumbaga, sige, i-open nyo yung charter change.
When you are the incumbent, dapat nga sa lahat local officials. Alam mo kasi, you should be allowed to resign 6 months before, precisely to deter you from using the resources of government to fund your candidacy. Governor man, mayor, alam mo na, you will have a lot of advantage if you do that.
Yun ba? Sinasabi nga rito, term extension, di
Wala
pwede.
naman tayong dyan, but this is the democracy. Rotation dapat.
Tama.
Now is the time for Bicolano to be president. Maybe tomorrow from the southwestern part of Mindanao,
Okay.
which would be Zamboanga towards Pulo. I would even relish an Ifugao president. Turno-turno tayo, huwag natin suluhin.
Sa pangin.
Hindi maganda eh.
Oo.
Magsabi, one term, only, period.
Tama.
2 terms, tapos barred forever, pero sundin natin.
Hindi pwede yan. Pagka
Tayo
umaba.
na ilagay sa posisyon natin ngayon, yung batas na yun should bind us. Isa lang, dapat isa lang.
One term lang. Oo.
Yes, sir.
Yan.
Dennis.
Kung ikaw lang ang karoon sa posisyon niya, kung sa ito na yung dapat i-amenda sa 1987 Constitution. And secondly, ano sabi na muna itong preliminary sa Luzon?
The second question is clear to me.
The second question is, kamusta na po may tamo na tayo lumuon ng preliminary sa Luzon?
Wala, I do not think that yung first question is irrelevant naman yun. Kung sa imo, wala naman akong nakita sa horizon na any attempt to circumvent, go around
Yun nga, sinasabi niya dyan, hindi pwedeng mahaba.
anything na hindi maganda. I just want to we live on our time. Kung saan tayo dinatngan ng swerte natin sa buhay ng Constitution and your destiny, nandyan lang tayo.
Tama.
Because this is what
Democracy.
a democracy.
Yes. Tama.
Do not tinker
Yun nga sinasabi niya, democracy.
click movement of a democratic state.
Yes.
Do not introduce something which is foreign or not aligned with the original intentions of those who made the charter. Sundin lang natin the intention. Kung ginawa 6 years, 6 years. Now, kung nandiyan ka sa 6 years, diyan ka lang. You want to make changes, make it another successively, wala.
Yun sinasabi niya dito, hindi pwedeng mahaba.
But you should not benefit from it. That is really what democracy is all about. Yes, Kaduwaya.
Nagugulat ako. Nagugulat ako na sila.
Sir, what made you change your mind? Previously you said no for DI, no for tinkering the Constitution. What happened?
Change my mind.
Change my mind. Hindi naman nag-change ah.
I never changed my position
Yeah.
because there is only one position.
Ano?
Hindi naman ito kama. ang ano doon is really, there is only a term limit of, I said, you should bind yourself to where you are or where you are placed. At or is, I don't know which is the proper one.
So you don't want the president when he said his term in office. So same with the senators.
Again,
You don't want the president, a president, or any president.
it's obvious. That's what the Constitution says, one term only. So you do not have the privilege of being elected again. You just follow the intent ng gumawa ng ating Constitution. In other words, do not
Sinilent na lang.
Pero,
Do not
they're
F
saying,
you.
after the Cebu prayer rally, it changed a lot in terms of perspective vis-a-vis the people's initiative and the constitutional discussion per se. What?
No, I've always been a stickler to you can if there's a record of history of my public life stint in government. I've always been consistent. Ayaw ko yung I never crave for any other than what is given to me by law at that time. Wala akong
If you were to suggest what provision, what economic provision in the 1987 Constitution should be amended, what would that be?
I don't care if you make the economics libro dyan sa huwag mo lang pakialaman yung Constitution. saksak mo na lahat ang economic provisions ng libro ng encyclopedia kung gusto mo. Let us not, beat around the bush or find excuses to just huwag na tayo magbulahan dito kasi matanda na tayo.
Tama.
We've been long in dito sa gobyernong ito, tumanda tayo. Nakilala kita, naka-short pants ka pa lang.
O, nakahubo ako nun.
Kaalaman na tayo dito kung sa badya, labad-labad ka man sa asking questions.
Sir, because you're saying that you're fine except the demo model. So if you're fine, which one should be amended? And which part of the economic?
Wala na, kasi dapat doon, kung na-elected ka doon lang. But if you can do it na i-amend mo, but the problem is, if you amend the Constitution and you are the incumbent president, you have all the resources to get what you want.
Yun, sa poll. Pabor sa kanila.
Kaya mong bilhin pati yung barangay captain. So, what result would you want? Huwag na tayo magbulahan dito sa Pilipinas.
Galit na siya.
Sabihin mo, ipadaan natin ng referendum, plebiscito. Bilat.
Naintindihan ko yun.
Kung gusto ng presidente, the resources are there for him to utilize. Pakabubog naman niya pag hindi mo matalo basta whatever it is, a referendum or a plebiscite or a result of a votation or whatever.
So, naintindihan na natin guys, di ba?
Are you saying that if you are going to amend, it's going to be a done deal because he is president?
I am saying that it's not the time to make changes in the Constitution. The Constitution is good, very good. The best that we have ever produced. Do not
Do not F you. Nag-iingat na siya. Tahimik yung newscaster.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
During your
Ang imong, kanibang imong anam, guuro mo rin magsinong kadako ng yawa?
Kasi ibang message dito sa Segurani, you've mentioned na you will support for the changing of provision as long as President Marcos will commit to the people that he will not run again. Is it a challenge or?
No. It is a reminder that even presently, you are not supposed to do it.
What if indeed you're
Ayan nga sinasabi ko, well, bahala siya. But it's, you begin to tinker with it. Yan ang sabi ko, do not tinker with the Constitution. Don't.
Yun, sinasabi nga niya. Talagang ayaw niyang mag-change ng constitution. Kaya palagi niya sinasabi, pag binago niyo yan,
Other amendments, fine.
tignan niyo, diba?
Pati congressman, pati masama talaga. Ano? Wala. Ganito na lang. Gusto mong baguhin
Yan.
from ngayon 6 years, you make it 10 years for one term.
Yan.
Maganda. Pero baka sa pangalatlong dekada na yan,
Ayun. Diba?
huwag ngayon.
Kasi sila lang
Kung
makikinabang.
meron man tayong gawin, hindi para sa atin, para na sa mga ating anak.
Yan. Maintindihan
Huwag
natin.
para sa atin, kasi yan, that would trigger a lot of friction in society. Magkakaroon ng initana eh. And hindi lang man tayo, buti sana kung kami lang mga politiko, we have to deal with the population, You have to deal with religion. Kasi ang religion naman, you have to deal with the military. You have to deal with the police. You have to deal with the security guards. You have to deal with the kafgo. Puro may armas yan eh.
That's, Sir, you're raising your hand, Rodrigo.
Sir, you have mentioned that you supported President Marcos in the economic chacha. Did you give us a rate from 1 to 100?
Kung bintana, ilayo na niya ba? Tugnaw.
Ano yung ginawa na si Tatay Diggs?
Mga tugnaw doon man na luspad na gani. Okay, pero ito.
Sir, pwede niyo po magbigay yung rating na 1 to 100 yung support niyo po kay President Marcos when it comes to economic chacha?
100.
If you're going to rate this presidency against the proposed chacha, what grade would you give it?
The proposal for what? You have to have
Economic chacha now.
if you make me choose something, make a face on the other side. Chacha.
Yeah.
Chacha, well, okay. Walang problema. As long as I said, do not tinker with one particular sentence there about the presidency.
Yes, Roy.
Mayor, we got your point on the term limits that you would be okay with it for as long as it will benefit the current officers. That's the term limit. How about the form of government? What's your take on it?
I'm comfortable with the presidential type of government natin ngayon. It's a Republican form of the government, presidential type. Huwag na natin palitan kasi yan yung naabutan ng lolo ko, naabutan ng apo ko. Huwag na natin yaga-yaga. Kung wala nang may ibang putak kayo, kung wala na kayong ibang pag-isip, magpunta kayo doon sa likod ng bahay ninyo.
Tapos,
Tingnan ninyo kung walang tao doon. Alam mo kung ano ang gawin ninyo?
Ano.
Bahala na kung anong gusto mo. Huwag kayo maubusan kayo ng ideas. Bakit mo ibalandra dito yan sa gobyerno pati sa tao? Ilang beses ba tayo mag-fix ng konstitusyon? There was a flawed one. Okay, we may change it. What else? What needs to be done? Something else? Good. But not the prolonging of
the term.
the barangay captains, nor of the president. Not good. Kung meron man, i-apply yan.
For the next 30 years.
Si Ruth muna. Ruth.
Mayor, as far as any comment po sa allegation from a Senate resource person, President inquiry, alleging that you and Vice President Sara Duterte received a plans of plans from Astropolitan.
Kami magtanggap ng baril kay Pastor Kibuloy. Ako pa ba ang mag-deliver sa kanya ng kanyon bukas o masinggan? That's a very stupid proposition.
Wala ko tumahan kayo.
It's silly. Bakit man si Pastor magbigay ng baril sa akin? Sama siya magkuha. Kung magsabi siya wala siyang baril, bigyan ko siya. I have about almost more than 500 firearms registered collectors category ako eh. Ibig sabihin, bili ako ng bili, pero hindi ko magamit. I can only use one. I can carry a gun only one of the entire collection, maski mag-abot ng 50 million. You're only allowed by the authorities to carry one gun, not even a rifle. Hunting, maybe. Shotgun, okay. But military hardware, no. Wala nga ako eh. All that I had before was military, pero MR. Because sitwasyon, alam mo na, mayor ka, punta ka ng bukid. Hindi mo naman naman kung sino yung kalaban mo. Hindi mo talaga alam kung sino ang gustong gorgor sa iyo.
Only 500 cars.
Ako?
Yeah.
Tuloy?
Collection.
Talagang binilang ko yun.
Private army already? Do you have one? Even if it's collection?
Yes. Hindi ka collector kung ililipit na. Collector is collector. You collect and collect and collect. Hindi ito BIR. Collection ng firearms ito.
Okay, Alan.
Mayor, inline sa statement ni Pastor Rodrigo Loing, nag-language ka dito sa yung life is under threat from the CIA. Sinunday kanina yung mga CIA government proceeding.
Well, I could not really say that I can validate his statement independently, yung salita niya. But what I can say is that maybe somehow his life is in danger. Alam mo, ang kaso niya sa Amerika eh. Hindi naman dito. Wala naman kaso si Presidente, si Pastor Kibuloy dito. He's free to move around. And the process there is extradition. So it's a long process. Hindi rendition with a military. Extradition is also treated.
Willing siya mag-extradite at hindi siya gusto extraction.
Malit na kaso yan. America would not go into that. America would not waste its time violating a law na ano.
Instead of attending to the session ng Senate, could lead to his arrest. Is it possible, pa-arrest mo siya na hindi siya lumatano, nag-attend sa Senate meeting?
Sino?
Si Pastor Iguloy. Pa-arrest mo siya kasi pinapaibitahan siya, isusomo na siya. If he doesn't really appear, pwede ba yun? Ay pa-arrest mo siya.
May I hear you the word again?
Pina-report siya sa Senate.
Oh, I thought...
Subpoena siya, subpoena. Could it lead to his arrest?
Well, I'd like to ask you a question. What is the equivalent of the word subpoena?
Invitation.
It's not an order. You cannot order an ordinary citizen like me to compel me to report to you. For what? If I don't want. Or if say to the national interest that you should appear. If I begin to question you, what is the significance of that interest? Kaya pastor yan, kung gusto niya, hindi.
Kada so makalili ba niya sa contempt?
It could, because unreasonable refusal. So maybe the first is invitation, comes the subpoena. A subpoena is more or less like a subpoena of court. Same effect. It can compel your attendance. Pero ako naman, kung di niya, ang ayaw niya, ano mo gusto sa kanya? Wala mo na nakita na of national interest yung
Another topic lang, Mayor.
yes.
Our PNP right now seems to be involved in a lot of cases that the millions of pesos na yung inapaw nila, yung planted, yung sinuha nila, or 40 million, actually sinuha sila ngayon. At marami na pong crime na nangyayari dito. I've seen politicians po na makarami ng bodyguard dahil dito natapat for pagkabato. What is happening in that country today? With regards to this,
Well, national leadership should. Alam mo dito sa Pilipinas, wala naman talagang ambos araw-araw eh. Alam mo, pasikatan lang yan. Ako personally, I do not need. Pinipilit na nila yung pulis sa akin eh. Pero ako, kung ako, I'd rather, if somebody has to die today, tonight, or tomorrow, mas mabuti pa ako kasi matanda na. Kaysa mga pulis, may pamilya pa yan, may mga anak pa. What the heck about going around with so many bodyguards kung hambog mo lang yan? Para sa takot lang yan? All you need is a gun, maybe and 2 balls. Pag isa lang itlog mo, yan ang problema. O tatlo. Either isa or tatlo. May imbalance eh. Dalawa, tama-tama lang.
Okay? Yeah.
Oh.
Mayor, you mentioned ang paaprubahan naman sa publicito is kung pinanaming provision lang, okay sa ito. Dati, paaprubahan ka lang sa Kongreso, kung pinanaming din sa publicito, suportahan ba nito kung kumapanya ba ka ang prubahan ang paglatikal sa ito?
Come to think of it, you know what? Even if they will touch on everything there in the charter, yun sa Constitution, I will not mind. But make it progressive. Huwag lang mag-benefit tayong kami. Hindi na ako. Yung nakaupo ngayon. Huwag mong habain yung bituka mo. Gusto mo na a longer term for the next president would be good for this country, or there will be no limitations at all for as long as he remains to be a loyal and a good public servant. Wala man tayong problema lahat. Kung hindi naman santo, pero kung tao na matino na nakaupo dyan sa Malacanang, he can stay forever.
Yun. Narinig niyo, guys.
Ang problema lang ganito, nag-iisip ako ng malalim. Problema kasi, si Jesu Cristo hindi nagapa ng certificate of candidacy. Wala gusto mo talaga matino dyan, Jesu Cristo yan. Kung tao yan, pandor dito. The temptation to make money here and there.
Yun lang. Corruption.
At may command eh. Yan ang bantayan ninyo sa inyong inihalal na mga officials.
Sila lang.
Fine.
Yes, good evening,
Ito ang
sir.
binoto ko eh.
Gusto lang ako din ang cooperation sa status sa possession na to.
Ganyan.
When you said that we cannot be separated from the Republic.
Vis-a-vis whether we are good or not. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, for ito, declare ko lang yan. Sabihin ko lang kasi sa ano na, look, you guys, when you think, we think of your work there as a secretary or as a senator or congressman or whatever, think always of the Republic of the Philippines. Huwag ninyong pabor-paboran yan kasi hindi lang kayo ang Pilipino.
Tama.
Parang ano lang yung pitik lang yung na a reminder, gentle reminder na, you know, shape up because hindi pa naman tayo magkatribo lahat. Yan nga ang problema eh. Pagpunta ka doon sa Ilocos, hindi ka maintindihan talaga kung taga-Bisaya ka. Kung taga-Bisaya ka, magpunta ka doon sa Pulo, hindi tayo magkaintindihan. Kung taga-Mindanao ka, magpunta ka Luzon, tulala ka palagi. Baluktot ang Tagalog mo o ang Bisaya ng Tagalog, mukhang Espanyol pakinggan. Taing ako.
Another mayor, what do you make out of the going on sa Senate hearing under sa committee ni Senator Ontiveros about kay Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, not only indicating him but also dragging along your name and the Vice President Sara? What do you make of
Anong sinabi niya?
dragging, getting statements from alleged witness that you're somehow involved in illegal exchanges, transactions involving firearms,
Involving
transactions involving firearms. Sa pag-iingon sa witness, that particular witness saw you and the Vice President bringing that back to the firearms passport.
Ako ang supplier ng firearm dito, hindi ako nanghihingi. Matagal na akong supplier ng firearm, bata pa ako.
Has the pastor reached out to you when the Senate hearing started, especially when witnesses starting to come up, alleging all these things against the pastor involving you and the Vice President? That we not the same answer.
You know, there are always, we never run out of silly or idiots in government. Let them be. Komportable sila dyan. Komportable rin ako dito.
Sharon?
Uy!
Yes,
Si
Sharon.
Mamang pala ito.
Paborito ni Duterte.
Has warned that Pastor Tigoloy will be cited in contempt and will be arrested if he does not show up in the Senate hearing on March 5. You are his friend. You are Pastor Tigoloy's friend, and you are a lawyer. What is your advice to your friend?
Get yourself arrested.
So he will not show up.
This is a free country. If you do not want to go there, get arrested.
You will ask him to cooperate.
I'll give him the free choice.
Can I go back to the Constitution?
Yes, what about?
You said a few minutes ago that you are comfortable with the presidential type of government.
President-
Although that you campaign for federalism when you run for president.
Yeah, it does that. Let me correct you right there and then. It doesn't mean that it is federal, it is not presidential type.
Let me finish my question first. your constitution to shift to a federal system, right?
Right.
Okay. But you had the first half term, you had a super majority. But even up to the end,
Look, it's just,
why did you not muster enough political will to get that shift to federal system?
to answer your last question, because wala akong enough political will. Second, actually, there's not much different about a federal system being presidential. Oh, there's no incongruity there. Look at America. It's a federal union of federal states, United Nations. It's federal. It's presidential type of government. I do not see any wala akong nakitang ano doon problema. Pero
Do you not regret that you were not able to do as you promised in 2015?
you cannot have your cake and eat it too. May ang Diyos may ibigay sa iyo, may hindi. So, hindi lahat ng kaligayahan na gusto mo makapkap ko sa mundong ito.
Tama.
There will always be disappointments.
Tama.
And this was your big disappointment.
Well, I'm talking to you about life. Nothing's perfect.
Yung ano po, kanina,
Ayaw pagpo na to kay
sinabi nyo rin that your call for Mindanao, independent Mindanao, which you did on January 30 in Medicine, you said it was just fitting.
well, that was really that was a legit dream of the old yung mga taga Mindanao. You know, because Mindanao is a frontier country. It is not inhabited by originals except the natives and the Moro people here. So, yung dream of separate, they were looking at a certain place, like my father and mother, migrating toward an island called Mindanao for a better future for the children. Yun ang dream. It has always the dream of some people to be independent. Pero if it causes a rupture in our entire system sa Republika, I will not go for it. I will not go for a forced carving out in Mindanao out of the Philippines.
Are you saying now that it was just a pity or a failure?
I am not. I'm not.
There were no takers?
I'm not saying any different, really, actually.
Kasi wala naman, after you made the call, there were of course reactions that you cannot do.
Well, I said, sinabi ko,
So you're saying that now because
give us a better deal for Mindanao.
Yun.
Well, if you studied history, Mindanao has always been a poor relative vis-a-vis with the entire country. Ang Mindanao noon, the least for so many years, consistently the lowest in getting public funds for our structure. Kaya tayo pinaka-late nag-bloom. And that was the complaint. Kaya it fueled the revolution. It encouraged people, and some Christians joined the Moro people in clamoring for an independent Mindanao. Klaro yun eh, especially the earliest settlers dito. na dumating na ang panahon na lang, maganda na ang road network doon sa Mindanao. Punta ka ng Hagonoy noon hanggang Rocky Road. Sa ice cream lang yan. Hindi yan pang gobyerno. Hindi naman talaga nahati. Because the influential leaders and even the national leader, president, has always been there. Para tayo na nakatsamba na sa panahon ba yan? Taroon tayo ng presidente dito. Pero ganoon pa man, there was never really a radical change in my... When I'll just be frank with you and everybody else. When I became president, there was never the slightest moment that I was thinking of placing the interest of Mindanao over and above of the entire needs of the entire country. Kung ano lang ang sabihin ng economic planners at ano lang sabihin ng mga Department of Highways and everything, at unahin muna natin ito because I am not as bright as anybody else. I might be a lawyer, good in memorizing. Hanggang dyan lang, memorize. Pero to be an enterprising thing about governance, malayo. I cannot claim. Kadili kaya may di ka pod mo undang tindog naman ko.
I think somebody asked, but you were not able to answer it earlier. The question was, are you going to Manila for
Prayer rally.
after another rally in for Hapag?
Of course not. What for?
So, the Cebu rally was the last.
Just a pretext just to go home to say the alam mo, Cebuano always yearns to see his birthday. Any slightest excuse to be there. Pero sabihin ko just to be at the moment because it is demanded. Kaya,
So there's no schedule for now.
no schedule. If you are asking the question in terms of what would be in the future of this country and what would be your views or opinions if this would occur or happen or not. I'm retired. I would like to stay retired. I do not want to meddle in politics. Maski na sa mga anak ko, if they can carry the burden on their own, kampanya lahat na gusto ko magpahinga na. But, Color, maya ko lang sabihin sa iyo, 40 anyos na gud ako. And if you would want to be comfortable with the number, double it. And that's why.
Mayor, what's the last na update ni Congressman Alvarez sa IM on the finishing the long term?
Ako talaga,
Yun. Pinaulit-ulit lang yung Mindanao.
I cannot magprangka ako sa inyo. And this is for all. And I would repeat it now and forever. I do not want my country dismembered. I do not want a part of my country taken away. I do not want my country to be disturbed physically, even the slightest. It
Malinaw.
goes for Luzon hanggang
Mindanao.
Pulo. yung nagising ako sa mundong ito, Republic of the Philippines. For as long as I live, it would be the same Republic of the Philippines.
Were you saying a different thing, or last time when you said that you would want Mindanao to separate from Mindanao? You did not
Sa kanyang intriga ka, intrigadura ka yun. Separate. Ano mo, separate, magtiayon, kayo mag-separate. Hindi mo diha. Panghadlok mo lang na. Ba't paano? Para, hingin ka dito. Ba't pas di mo magsigag-yaw-yaw? Pag yun ang kayong banang, ikaw mo yaw-yaw, biyaan ka ka. Wala na. Lalapin ako. Ayaw nila, mas lalo ako. Mas matanda ako nila, buwang sila.
Even if you feel it as share or Mindanao, but people said it's time for Mindanao. People should study it.
You can craft it the way you want, legislation, or we go into a deeper local autonomy. You can never do what you want. Let it remain a Republic of the Philippines.
So no more talks about Mindanao, getting out of the Republic.
Yan lang ang problema. It's the distribution of the national wealth. And you know very well, lahat tayo, if you studied your history, lahat tayo, alam natin that Mindanao was really a poor relative of the national government. Ngayon lang ito, nakabawi tayo. Nung presidente ako, hindi ko nga sinabi na bigyan mo lamang ang Mindanao. Patas. Hindi mo naman sabihin na presidente ako, gusto kong bumawi na, o nagkulang tayo noon, ngayon panahon ng bumawi. That ain't the way of being a Filipino. Kung ano yung, what's good for the Huluhano, must be good for the Ifugao, must be good for the Tagalog, and must be good for the Bisaya. Why? If you have to remain a republic, ganun talaga, you better adapt that kind of thinking. Hindi tayo pwede mag-isip-isip na mga Tagalog, Bisaya, or kalukuhan niya. Ngayon pa, katanda-tanda na natin, may mga anak na tayo, ngayon pa tayo mag-isip ng ganun. And I'd like to sabihin ko sa mga Pilipino, stop this separate. Na pagmulat ko sa mata ko when I was born, this was a republic. Ganun na. Huwag mong kunin baski kalahating hektarya yung Samal Island. Magkagulo tayo. Even if you take 1 hectare away from Samal Island, yung bayan ko, yan. Huwag mong galawin. Pag hindi magagera tayo.
Mayor,
Listen to you when you said you want people to be educated for a day will come that Mindanao will be a separate
Ulit-ulit Mindanao.
country from the Philippine Republic. We got it wrong.
Sabi ko sa iyo, pang-atik lang yun. Ano ka ba? Kung hindi mo ganunin kasi yung mga taga-Maynila, parang sipain mo yung paa at trip.
Panggising.
Putangin na mo, hindi lang ikaw ang Pilipino, ha?
Panggising ano.
Bukan na ngayon, pag marato.
So glass lang po mayor at they will be so serious.
Nag-cool down sila ito.
Because of glass.
Not because of a bluff, but because of a strong statement coming from a Filipino. Adre, hindi lang kayo ang Filipino. Lahat ang mga minuno natin nagpakamatay sa bayan natin. Do not.
So, instead, may talaga investment instead. Okay.
Silly.
Next topic.
You still have
If,
another question?
if at all, kung mayroong mag-declare ng independent state, kung gusto lang nila, payag ako, Samal Island. Yan. Gusto nila mag-declare ng independent Samal Island, sali na lang sa likod para may sila pakasyonan.
Mayor, honestly, not to Mayor, yung drug addict issue kay President, dapat pa rin ba yung challenge mo kapag drug test?
Drug addict issue.
Yung challenge mo po. Ay, still drug challenge ba?
Si Presidente, wala akong sinabi na gano'n. Ma'am, you have to, even if you kill me 1,000 times, wala akong sinabi na gano'n. Taking a drug, pero kung sabihin mo, addict, wala akong sinabi na gano'n. Patayin ako ni Marcos niyan. Maawa ka naman sa akin. Matanda na ako. Ano sinabi noon? If I can say it for to Marcos, I can say it for all. Ayaw hinawa kay antibiotic na to o kay aspirin. They're all drugs. It's just nomenclature. Pero wala akong sinabi na pagpatayin ako ni Marcos niya, takot pa naman ako mamatay ng matanda na ako. Gusto ko pa mabuhay mga another
50 years.
hanggang mamatay si Kaduaya. Magsabay kami.
Mayor, 8 months na lang po, Mayor, mag-election na naman. Marami sa kayo yung mga tao yung pushing you to run for Mayor.
Ayaw ka naman.
Political plans for 2025.
Let it anybody, not even from my family. Corny man pakinggan. If you count the number of years that my father was in public office, isali mo ako. Pati isali mo idagdag mo yung sa mga anak ko. Masyado nang.
Okay, just
Maybe
one
it's
last,
high time na iba na naman.
just one last question. That question would come from me. Okay. Mr. Mayor, you said something about our children's future. Inday Sara, in all the surveys, had been on the top, most trusted, most approved, and her department, the Department of Education, has been declared as the most trusted government agency in the country today. As a father, what can you say about the performance of your daughter?
Well, I think that she's just following my record. Hindi lang na-record properly. Kasi si Kaduaya kasi yung tikuha ng figure noon sa Manila eh. I am proud that she's been doing good at public service. Taking into account that, my father has always been, for the longest time, the governor of
Davao.
even the city of Davao before. There was only one Davao, one province, one capital, Davao City. And we used to elect the governor of the entire Davao province and Davao City. So, ganon. At ako naman, I would like to thank you, although belatedly, I suppose, salamat po sa mga tao for the number of years given to me as a rare privilege to serve my country as mayor, as congressman, and eventually as president. I just hope that hindi ako nagkulang sa tao. Pero ganun pa man, maski na pahabo na lang ito, ginawa ko talaga ang magagawa ko at wala akong ginawang kalumpuhan. Kailan?
Mayor, what's the update mo sa ICC?
ICC? Sabi ko sa kanila, mag-usap na lang sila ng ICC rin dito. Total, magkapareho silang pangalan eh. Yes, you talk to each other, maybe you can understand.
Mayor, the support of the president is critical para ma-implement nila ang arrest. So, you said the previous press call that you were telling the president to drop his
Ay,
No, ganito yan. I would like the president to seek the advice of his legal counsel. Kung ano yung sabihin niya sa mga abogado niya sa Malacanang, sundin niya. Ako, I can take care of my own. Kaya kong
ano?
Kaya ko, saan ba yung ICC na yan? Kaya pasalpid sa mga yawa mo. Ang pakialam nila.
Kaya nga.
When my country was being eaten by drugs and everything, nandito ba sila?
Wala.
Putang ina nila.
Ayun.
Sabi ko sa kanila, putang
Namura
ito, sabi ko,
talaga.
putang ina ninyo.
Mura tuloy.
Panahon na natin dito, nagpatayan tayo dito, polis ko din, patay dito, patay doon. Patayan tayo ng mga Pilipino. Saan itong mga putang inan to?
Yeah.
Where were they? Yung kinakain ng mga anak natin ng droga. Hindi ang droga ang kumakain sa mga anak natin. Saan sila? Putang ina. Sabihin nyo, tatapos, turuan pati kung anong sabihin nila. Sampalin ko sila. Totoo, kung may makita ako na foreigner magsalita sa akin sa harap na, pag hindi kita sinampal. Ano? Wala mang preso yan. Guilty agad. Did you slap this idiot of the associated whatever? No. Pakialam kayo ng pakialam, hindi naman kayo nakakatulong. Sabihin ko nga, look, idiot, if you are not really an idiot, because you are an idiot, sino ba naman gusto pumatay sa kapwa-tao niya?
Kaya nga.
Kung may gusto man akong patayin kayong pumunta dito sa bayan ko. Noong mga minuno namin na walang alam, pumunta kayo dito. You occupied my country for so many years. Spain for 400 years, Americans how many years? And you talk like a shit. Tang ina niyo ba kung turuan? Talk about human rights. How many years of oppression? Nagtiis tayo sa mga kamay ng mga banyaga. Tang ina nila. Tapos kung magsalita ka look who's talking, ika nga. Wala tayong turuan. Ako ba? Bakit ko patayin Pilipino? Kasi gusto ko pumatay ng puti. Sila yung may kasalanan, hindi yung Pilipino. Yung ngayon, kung Pilipino ka naman, and you're fucking with drugs, destroying the mga bata, ibang istorya yan. Sinasabi ko naman, tsaka ako nag-warning. At ang warning ko walang para-para. wala akong qualified or condition. Huwag mong gawin yan, papatayin kita, putang ina mo. Lagi.
Clear na kausap ba kayo ni Pastor Nicolo in person recently? At saka may kayo ba kayo sa
Init na ulo.
punta ko siya sa Philippines or nakalabas na?
Si Pastor, sabi ko sa Afrika mo ka muna matago dahil hindi ka mahalata doon. I really do not know. I do not want to. He's on his own. Alam mo naman, presidente ako, tapos I started as a prosecutor, fiscal, mayor, president. I cannot afford to double with yung mga ganitong mga bagay nito. So, alam naman niya, kaya niya, he has the resources and all. And he has a lot of brains to navigate his way. Paano niya paikot-ikot sa buhay.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor President.
Ayan, tapos na. Thank you. Thank you, Tatay Digong. Natunghayan na natin si Tatay Digong at ang kanyang mga sinambit ay hindi siya lumambot. Kaya nga lamang, nagkaroon tayo ng duda na bakit ganun. Gusto na niya ng charter change, sinusuportahan niya. Yun yung banggit niya sa Cebu eh. Pero yung pala ay mga pasakali lamang na kumbaga padama effect. Pero hindi pa rin nagbabago ang kanyang posisyon. Sabi nga niya, hindi nagbabago posisyon ko. Eh kung tayo nasa kama, iba na posisyon yun. Natawa nga ako doon eh. So yun, matigas pa rin ang paninindigan ng ating Tatay Digong patungkol dyan sa charter change na yan. Kung babaguhin nyo yung charter change, at yan papabor sa mga opisyalis ng ating gobyerno na kumbaga nanunungkulan ngayon, hindi po pwedeng yun ay mag-take effect dun sa mga opisyalis ng gobyerno nakaupo. Kung hindi, ang gusto niya, kung talaga matigas ang ulo nyo, gusto nyo mag-charter change, ang take effect niya, kung long term yung inyong panunungkulan, hindi, mga 20 years, 30 years bago nyo i-take effect yan. Pero kung sasabihin nyo, kayo ang mamamasasa dun sa sinasabi nyo yung charter change, yung term extension, hindi po pwede. Hindi talaga po pwede yun. Kagaya nga nasabi niya, linaw-linaw na sinabi niya, di ba? Eh, nasa inyo lahat na resources. Kumbaga, tapos kayo mamamasasa, kayo ang magdidiriwang sa pagbabago ng ating konstitusyon. Natural, siyempre, hindi pwede yun. Hindi pwede yun. Pero pwede nga raw yun, kung halimbawa, 19 Congress ngayon, ang mamamasasa, yung 20 or 21st Congress. Yun, ganon. Hindi po pwede yung araka-raka, kayo yung magpapasasa. Kayo yung magiging, sinasabi nga nila, yung milyonaryo. Hindi pwede yun. Hindi pwede talaga yan. Maraming magagalit na Pilipino niyan. Siguro, matutuwa lang, yung mga sumusuporta sa inyong kakarampot lang, alam naman natin yan. Marami nga nagsasabi, hindi mananalo si Duterte kung wala loyalist. O paano ngayon kung balikan natin ng salita na hindi mananalo si Marcos kung wala si Sara Duterte? Di po ba? So, wag na nating, kumbaga, gawing issue yung mga ganun. Kung hindi mananalo. Hindi yun ang issue. Ang issue natin ay pagandahin ang buhay ng bawat isang mamayang Pilipino dito sa ating inang bansang Pilipinas. Yun po ang issue. Ang issue ay yung pagkain sa bawat pagkainan dito sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Ang issue, ang mga trabaho na kumbaga kailangan ng may magandang sweldo para nang sa ganun mayroong magastos na sa mga nagtataas ang bilihin dito sa ating inang bansang Pilipinas. Di po ba? Ang baba ng sweldo mo, taas ang bilihin, hindi nagmamatch. Yun po ang tunay na issue natin. Yun po ang hinaharap nating problema. Hindi ang mga politician na yan, hindi problema yan. Diyos ko. Yung mga charter change na, hindi problema yan. Ang pagturan niyo po ng pansin, yung ating pagkain sa bawat hapagkainan ng bawat isang Pilipino dito sa ating inang bansang Pilipinas. Yun po ang issue. Wala nang iba. Puro kayo charter change. PI na yan, PI, yung People's Initiative. Hindi po yan ang Hindi naman problema yung konstitusyon natin eh. Inuulit ko, ang problema natin, ang trabaho, ang sweldo, at ang taas ng bilihin. Taas ng bilihin eh. Tapos ang baba ng sweldo. Yun po ang pagtuunan natin ng pansin. Kung ano-ano yung ating ginagawa, para lang sa ikabubuti ninyo. Sabi nga ni Tatay Diggs, para sa ikabubuti nyo lang yung ginagawa nyo yan. Wag naman po. Hindi po kayo mataas ang posisyon. Mas mataas po ang posisyon ng mamayang Pilipino dito sa ating inang bansang Pilipinas. Kayo, mga trabahante lang namin kayo. Kami po ang tunay na mataas ang posisyon dito sa ating inang bansang Pilipinas. Pakatatandaan nyo po yun. So, guys, maraming salamat po sa panonood ng aking mumunting video. At nagpapasalamat po ako sa aking mga viewers. At lalong-lalo na sa aking mga subscribers at yung mga aking mga bagong subscriber ngayon. Nakasusubscribe lang from last week hanggang ngayon. Meron na naman tayo nadagdag na 157. Salamat po sa inyong pag-subscribe. So, unti-unti ay nadadagdagan tayo ang ating komunidad na DIY KKB Informative. At sinasabi ni DIY KKB Informative, palagi po tayo magsuri sa bawat ginagawa ng ating mga opisyalis ng gobyerno nang upang sa gayon hindi tayo malinlang ng mga ginagawa nila. So hanggang dito na lamang po guys. Maraming salamat po ulit. See you on my next vlog. Salamat po, Tatay Digong.